How's your off season been?
Decent. I don't know if you heard, but I got a ridiculous new title, and it is now.
I did because you tell me every day.
It is the third ridiculous title.
Before you tell the people what it is, I really did like your previous title. It was my favorite one.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
and that's because Pete created it. I workshopped the newest one with everyone and just ended up with the monstrosity of head of culture and people.
Yeah, it's just a great title.
Decent.
The
people love it.
We got those very real people love your new title.
The live studio audience.
Yeah, that's right. Recorded in front of a live studio audience in Orlando, Florida.
We didn't tell people that United Sessions was moving up in season 2 to where we'd have a live recorded studio audience.
Yeah, but we downgraded. We're in Florida,
yeah.
That's pretty horrible. Jeez, the people love that joke. They're clearly not from Florida. They just flew in for this. But anyway, no, your previous title was my favorite one. Was a big fan of that. Again, Head and People and Culture is great.
Yeah. But directing all of innovation?
Yeah, Director of Innovation, it feels very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Very regal?
It is pretty regal.
Like you're a king in some way.
Yeah.
We all know you're more of like a jester in general.
The kingdom of innovation, and I'm the director of it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to United Sessions.
Back.
Season 2, baby.
Neither one of us looked up how many days it was since we did the last episode, so let's just ballpark it and go.
But, I mean, that is the level of preparation you can expect on this podcast. Season 2, not getting any better with preparation whatsoever. Excited to be here.
We've upped the tech game big time.
Yeah, it's so funny. They gave us money, and after the absolute horror show that was season 1, they decided to have us back for season 2. I don't know who this proverbial they is.
It's like 9 people on Twitter that were like, please bring back United Sessions.
Yeah, and one of them was my mom.
Right.
So, and she was a guest. She wouldn't have even done it if she wasn't a guest in the first place.
And I think 4 of them were our coworkers, and then the other 2 were us. So
yeah.
So
that's 8. 7. So we said 9.
Yeah.
Again, math's not getting any better this season either.
Pete was like, you guys have got to do something. And we're like, what about the podcast? And he was like, I guess.
Yeah. You guys are pretty much useless otherwise. So here we are. During the games, I sit up in the press box and look at stuff.
Yep. Live tweet like a beast.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And during the games, Lucas, what do you do during the games? You just kind of yell at people? What's the thing?
In general, yeah. So having moved out of the directing and producing of the in-stadium production, big shout out to Jules Myers, who is the best at it. I now get to be down on the concourse. So I predominantly work guest services.
Nice.
But what I really like to do is hand out stickers to cool-looking kiddos and take pictures of people who are struggling to take a selfie and point out where people can go to get churros.
All those very important things. I will say, if somebody who looked like you approached my child, I would pull them away by their shirt very quickly.
That's why I lead with the sticker.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Our guest today, very excited to welcome in Mr. Zach Prince, head coach, technical director of New Mexico United. He's been on the show before.
Yep.
But this will be the first time he's done it as head coach and technical director, and we're not the first podcast to get him, unfortunately.
No, we got scooped.
I'm literally the director of communications. I could have prevented that easily.
Yeah. Shows what a good guy you are.
Failing. Oh, okay, let's go with that. I was going to say I failed in my duties, but I'm just a really nice guy.
You're egalitarian. New Mexico United belongs to everyone.
That's right.
There's no sense claiming exclusivity on head coach and technical director Zach Prince.
I do believe in that. I do believe that. I'm also... maybe there's a little bit of a lazy streak there. I don't know.
It's been a busy couple weeks, so I hope people forgive us. We had to wait for the equipment to get delivered. We had to get through a bit of a gauntlet of games, but we are, for all intents and purposes, back.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
And since the last time we talked to you, loyal listener, a new season has started. We brought in 9 new players, we being New Mexico United, of course. New head coach and technical director in Zach Prince. Obviously very excited about that. We've played 5 games in total, 4 in the league, 1 in the Open Cup. And we've had the draw for our third round, our second matchup in the Open Cup, which will be Phoenix Rising, a familiar face. So we'll play them twice in a week. We're going to talk to Zach Prince a little bit about that, a little bit about the new players, all that kind of fun stuff. We're going to do a top 5. Should be fun.
We're going to do our best to not anger him. I really think that's our number one goal.
That's always the goal. He's I love Zach to death, but he's scary when he's mad.
And he suffers no fools.
No, he just does not want to deal with your bullshit.
Which is this is probably the worst podcast for one who suffers no fools.
Yeah, there are 2 fools at all times. Great restaurant. in Albuquerque.
Sponsorship opportunity.
Yeah, seriously, Two Fools. I mean, that literally is what we do here. Yeah, it's a good point.
Man, this has been a killer opening segment.
New podcast title?
We don't have a new podcast title.
We could call it Two Fools.
Dylan, okay. I thought you said we had a new podcast title. I was like, Dylan, this has been your first contribution of the new season. And it's just factually inaccurate.
Just garbage, Dylan.
Oh my goodness.
Two Fools sponsored by Two Fools.
Okay.
All right.
We're done with Dylan.
Let's just go to a new segment.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Coming to you from the land of enchantment, let's talk community, arts, sport, and a little bit of soccer.
Sandoval near post, it's over the head of Sandoval, and it's in! Sergio Rivas!
This is United Sessions. With your hosts, David Carm and Lucas Cash.
Welcome back into United Sessions. Lucas Cash, David Carl here hanging out with head coach and technical director, Mr. Zach Prince. Zach, again, thanks for hanging out with us today. Excited to have you on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So first guest of the new season 2 of United Sessions. Is this the biggest accolade you've ever gotten in your career?
Ever.
And why?
Ever, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I get to spend time with Lucas Cash. That's why.
Wow, that hurts. That hurts a little. So wanted to talk a little bit about, obviously, how the season has started. We're going to get into those matches and all that kind of stuff. But first, the new guys, right? We signed more than we ever have as far as new players goes. 9 new players this season at all parts of the field, from goalkeeper all the way up top. What has that transition process been like as a team? Obviously, for individuals, it's different coming into a different team. But to have that many new players, what's that like?
Well, first, we have a really strong culture, in the locker room. And so that carries over to all the new players that are coming in. And so there's a great foundation that has been laid by, a lot of players that have been here for 3 years previous. And so that helps for sure. I think it was critical for us to go away to San Diego for 16 days and be around each other for 16 days, 24/7. And that really speeds up the process of people getting to know each other, and not only on the field but off the field, and that translates to success on the field. And so I think that was a huge catalyst for us to be able to start the season strong so far.
Coach, you mentioned culture, and I think one of the big things a lot of us were asking as a fan base was, Zach Prince was a huge part of building the original culture, starting back in 2018 and 2019. But there is this idea that you need to establish this as your own brand. So talk to us a little bit about that balance of maintaining that culture that you established alongside Troy while simultaneously making it not just Troy 2.0.
Well, I think the first thing that resonates with me when you say that is you're talking about my culture and my team. That's not language that I ever use or I want to use. It's ours. And when I say it's ours, it's New Mexico's, it's our fans, it's the front office. And what's important to me is to make sure that everyone knows coming into our locker room how special that is, to never take it for granted for 1 second. But then I think what is important for me to establish with the team is the importance of being successful on the field and how that impacts our success off the field. And so I think if we are incredibly successful on the field, that allows us to be even more successful off the field. And all the players that definitely have been told that, and now they can see it. They can see 100% what it means to be a part of this club. Being able to have a few home games early on in the season, they see the importance of what it means to this community, and I'm so thrilled that they're able to have that. Coming off of 2020 when there was no fans and having to travel all over the place, you can't take those things for granted, and it's so great to be able to have home games now. So
you talked about in the past, you've made kind of no bones about the fact that playing at New Mexico United is different than playing anywhere else, but also there's almost more of a responsibility. Could you talk a little bit about why that is?
Well, I think for me the responsibility is to reciprocate the the care and the excitement that is given by the fans. And what that means is, first, our effort can never change. That's a non-negotiable for us. We're always going to put our best effort on the field. But it has to go beyond that. Effort is always there. That's a constant for us. Now we have to go and execute. And that's why I added action into our, ethos. And we're not talking about it. We need to go and do it. And that's really important for me to not only say internally, but to say externally too, because that's that's really what I want to accomplish this season. I want to accomplish going and getting something done, which means hosting playoff games, which means going deep in the playoffs, which means, having a good Open Cup run. And in saying that, we have a tall task ahead of us this week, and I'm really excited about it.
Now, you mentioned that tall task. That's Phoenix twice in 4 days, obviously once in the league, once in the Open Cup. Does that present challenges? Does that present something beneficial, a little bit of both?
It is. It's from my perspective, I told the team this, it's a beautiful week. It's a week that we get a great challenge in the league. We get another great challenge in the Open Cup and a knockout game, and then we get to come back home and show our fans what it means to be back home after being on the road for a little bit of time. And so this is nothing that we can't handle. It's something that we, look in and take on as a challenge. We know it's going to be challenging. We respect Phoenix. They've been, a successful club over the past few years, and we're looking forward to that challenge for this week.
And
go ahead, Lucas.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we've made some memories with Phoenix in the Open Cup in the past. So
Yeah,
I think anyone who was around in 2019 is crazy looking forward to that. You mentioned we want to get something done this year. We want to accomplish something, and so I'm curious. It's no secret, right, that the injury bug has plagued New Mexico United a little bit. Less from a tactical perspective, but I guess more from like a psychological leadership perspective. How are you managing that in the conversations with the individuals that are asking to step into a place that they may not be comfortable with, or talking to those folks who are injured and keeping them ingrained in the culture?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things with that. I think you can make a big deal out of an injury, or you can, really get with the person that's injured and make sure that they feel important and loved in that moment. But at the same time, you look and challenge the person that's stepping into that position, not challenge them in the sense of like, hey, it's your time to step up, more in the sense of these are the things you have to execute based on your skill set. Throw the other skill sets of other players that are in that position before you out of the window. We're setting it up for you. And that's really important for those guys to know going into the game, that we're not expecting them to be anything other than themselves. And so that's the challenge for our coaching staff, is to always put those players in the situation where it's going to benefit them and benefit our team ultimately.
And I would imagine your experience as a player in that regard is probably very helpful, because when these players get injured and they're out, you know how they feel. Maybe you also know how it feels to be the one who needs to step up. How crucial is your experience as a player in being able to kind of relay those messages to these players and make sure they hear you?
It's critical because it's something that I don't really think about a lot intentionally. It's not something that I go back in the Rolodex and I'm like, what was I thinking at this moment? But it is interesting to go back and think about some of those moments. And I think it does help you in your decision-making, even though you're not thinking about that decision in the moment. Mm-hmm. There's a moment in time I had the best run of my career. Wasn't a big-time goal scorer, but I scored 5 goals in 5 games.
Wow.
In a row. Unheard of for me.
Sure.
Our right back gets injured. I go back and play right back because I was a utility guy. Moved me around, and that was a moment for me that it wasn't about me. It wasn't about, can Zach go score 10 in a row? Likely that wasn't going to happen. But the ultimate thing was, is that the best suited to go and help the team? And so no problem with me to go and do that. I just always wanted to be in the 11, always wanted to be the one helping the team. And so I try to take that strategy into coaching and say, how am I putting these players in the best position to go and help us win? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, when we get 3 points, everyone is really excited at that moment. So I try to take that same mentality from those playing days into coaching now.
You know, you bring up this idea of being a utility guy, and Dave, I can't help but be reminded of our conversation with Mike Azira, right, where he talked about in his early days he would just go wherever he wanted to go, and he had this great line. He's like, the ball is still round, right? And that was like the most crucial thing. Speaking of Mike, speaking of a number of other individuals that you brought up, how crucial has the senior leadership of the squad been as we transition into this new season, as we bring those new guys in? How crucial have the quote-unquote old guys been in that process?
With that, it's interesting because experience goes a long way. It goes a long way because you've put yourself in a situation where you've been in a lot of different scenarios where you've had to play out the game, and you've been successful in those scenarios, and you've been, unsuccessful in some, so you learn from those. But at the same time, what's most important is the guys that have been here for a long time and they know it, as far as what it takes to go and win here, not necessarily what it takes to go and win at a bunch of different experiences that you've been before. Because I do think that's different. It's different because of that responsibility that you have here. And so it's critical that these guys that have come back have really helped the new guys a ton. And I'm just so happy to see some of these guys that have, maybe not had as big of a leadership role, have an even bigger leadership role this year. You look at someone like Sam Hamilton that's really, taken a big responsibility. And, Sam's not a guy that's you're going to see barking all over the place, but at the same time, he leads with action and covers the most distance in games, breaks up play consistently, has most interceptions. And so he's a person that we've really enjoyed the start to his season, and I know he has too. And so I'm thrilled for those types of guys.
We talk a little bit about these new guys, right? And you can kind of break them up into maybe two different categories. You've got your young players like a Carl Sainty coming in, a Preston Taborda-Taka who's coming in, done really well. But you also have like your savvy veterans that you've brought in, guys like Nico Brett. But I want to talk specifically about Justin Portillo. He's leading the league right now in chances created. Specifically, though, how difficult is it, or how different is it to come into a new team as a veteran as opposed to a young guy, right? Like you're having your first experience as a young player for like Carl Sainty, something like that. But he has been in the MLS. He has been a leader at the USL Championship level. How tough is that, or how different is that?
I just think with them and with all these guys that have come in, I go back to talking to them when I was talking to them through the recruitment process and getting them signed. Be yourself. You're not being brought in to be anyone different than just Justin Portillo or just Nico Brett. That's why we want you. We don't want you to be Nico Brett and we just want you to be yourself. And that means what we've seen on film through the interview process, where we ask them a ton of questions about themselves and who they are as people, what they enjoy, that's really important to us, because I think you are able to tell a lot about a person through that process. And what we've done is brought in really good people. And you look at, Will Seymour, and Will this season has been, incredible, and in my opinion might be one of the best center backs in the league. If I would have told Will that before coming in, he was an 8. He was a box-to-box midfielder. I saw his skill set being, better used for our team in another position, and he's taken that and absolutely run with it. And I've been absolutely, thrilled with him about how he's really taken that adjustment and made it his own.
And do you ever have to ask the questions? You mentioned earlier when you were on that 5-game scoring streak, 5-match scoring streak, and then you got moved back to right back out of maybe the position you would have, quote unquote, wanted to be in, but you were just happy to be in the 11. Is there ever a conversation? Will's a great example of that, right? Maybe he expected to be an 8, but he's playing in a center mid role. Sam Hamilton has had to do that in the past. The center back role. Sam Hamilton has had to do that in the past. Is there ever a conversation where you have to be like, I know this isn't where you want to be or what you want to be doing, but it's for the best of the team, or do these guys just get it?
Every conversation is different, just dealing with different people. If it's a situation where you're talking to them and saying, I know this isn't where you want to be, you're already battling an uphill battle.
Got it.
This is a situation where this is the best, what I see is the best for the team. That's it. Mm-hmm. And we need you in this moment, and are you going to go and take the moment? And so he's done that. Sam's done that at center back. Sam's done that now at center midfield. And so I'm just all the guys have a great response in that matter. They really want to help the team win. And so I think that goes back to the personalities that we've brought in over the past, few years, and then also a lot of guys that we've brought in this year as well. Just great attitudes overall.
Awesome.
We don't want to give anything away, Coach, in terms of just tactics and what it is you're planning on doing, but what's your sort of general messaging to the team going into this week? I know you mentioned this is something we can absolutely do, so obviously you're instilling them with some degree of confidence, but what's on top of that? What are the core messaging points as you go through what's probably going to be one of the more severe grinds of the season?
I think you have to look at this week and be motivated by the fact that you're not going to get this week again. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get Phoenix back-to-back in this scenario ever again, potentially ever again in this club's history. So we got to look at that and say, that's a challenge to go take advantage of. We can't look at it and say, uphill battle. It's really, in a lot of ways, it worked out perfectly with our travel and being able to stay in Phoenix and really recover and have our recovery sessions there so the guys are ready to play on Wednesday. And so I'm really excited about this challenge. I really like the fact that, it's a little bit of a chess match in a way, going from Saturday to Wednesday, seeing adjustments, what the teams are going to do. And that really excites me from the coaching side. And so I know the players are motivated for that as well.
Something that at the time of this recording is not public, but will be by the time we publish that, is a new signing of a familiar face, Cody Mizell, who has had some big games against Phoenix in the past. How important is that on a short-term loan when you lose a guy like Alex Tambakis?
Well, the first part about it is Ford Parker has done incredible stepping in, and not only stepping in the situation where he stepped in against Las Vegas in the Open Cup, but prior to that had to step in the El Paso preseason game when Alex was feeling a little tightness in his hip flexor, and so we didn't want to risk it, and we played Ford. Ford found out about 12 minutes before the game and came in and did excellent. And Ford, every step of the way, has really met every challenge that's been thrown at him. It's not easy to be a number two. It's a thankless position at times, but I am so happy with him. Mm-hmm. We had the opportunity to get Cody on loan for a few games, and with that, what's important to me about that is bringing him in, that he's familiar with me, he's familiar with our club, he knows the responsibility of the club. It's not a guy that's looking to just come get a game. He knows that what 3 points matters to us and our team. It's the closest thing that you could get to a short-term loan for a guy that is going to feel like he's on our team permanently.
Right.
And so that's what made the most sense to me in this moment. And so I'm happy to get Cody in, and I can't wait to see him here on Friday.
You mentioned Ford in the Las Vegas match. He was outstanding. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't point out that there were tons of people who were outstanding in that match. What a performance, and what an opportunity for the New Mexico fan base to get to see a lot of new faces. You don't have to single anyone out in particular, but just in a situation where there are a lot of new faces and it's something that we're unfamiliar with, how excited were you to see just the execution and the approach and the trueness to the four pillars?
I think a lot of it is I'm not surprised that we were able to execute in that game, because we have quality players, we have quality depth. It is interesting, though, for a lot of guys to get their first chance in a different stadium, different set of circumstances. So that was really interesting about the situation. It wasn't a league game. And so that was the only thing that was a little different in the situation. And so, but am I surprised that they were really successful in the game? No, I expected them to be successful in that game. I thought Las Vegas had a couple players that could really hurt us, and that was the game plan, is to minimize those players' actions on the ball, and they did that. They did a great job. I thought we could have been a little bit better in possession at times and made them hurt even more. But overall, what a great performance by a lot of players that was their first start or first appearance of the season.
So taking a wider lens on the season so far. We played 5 matches, obviously 4 of them in league, 2 wins, 2 draws in league, and then 1 win, obviously, in Open Cup. What have you seen from this club early on that you're thinking, great, we're doing this exactly the way we wanted to, and what are you seeing that we need to improve on this? Just a few things.
I think what's important for us is we're able to be versatile and adaptable, and what that means is you're asked a different challenge every game that you're played, and you're going to be asked to play against a team that loves transition, loves to get in transition, or loves the ball, or loves to sit off, and they love to not have the ball. And so we've been asked those different questions in the first 5 games that we've played, 4 in league, and so saying that. I think we have lived up and have exploited teams, consistently over those, 4 and 5 matches. I think where we have to get better is making sure that once we exploit a team and once we have found our, either numerical advantage or individual advantage or whatever superiority that we have in the game, we have to make sure we're capitalizing on that more often. I think that'll come with sharpness throughout the year. And so I'm excited for that. But at the same time, I think the last 2 matches that we've played, giving up goals late in games and tied both of those games. What I would say about that is I'm really happy to be in the situation where we're closing out a game and we're not chasing a game. That makes me extremely happy. But at the same time, we got to close the game out. And so I would much rather be on that side of it than be chasing. And so I'm glad we're in that situation, but now we just have to make sure we're getting 3 instead of 1.
Understood.
Dave, I think Coach has more than passed his soccer bona fides, if you will. We can kind of transition more into the personality-based questions. Coach, I hear you have a new dog.
I do.
Talk to us about that new dog and compare the trials of a new dog with the trials of a one Miss Young Prince.
Hank is, we think, some type of boxer mix. He's wild. But he's at the same time amazing dog. Just loves life, and he's so great for my daughter and my wife, and keeps them busy for sure. But at the same time, just so sweet. And we got him from Watermelon Ranch, and he was being fostered from there. He's like 2 years old, and so it was nice that he was like housebroken and those types of things. So thrilled to have him, and David, thank you for setting us up with Watermelon.
They're wonderful people over there. Yeah, if you guys are looking for a pet, dog, cat, Watermelon Mountain Ranch are incredible people. So, yeah, 100%. How crucial is it that Alex and Ada are there to take care of Hank? Well, you're on the road a lot. Mm-hmm. It's probably tough having a new dog when you're on the road so much. Have they gotten along? Has it gone well?
It's crucial that they're there to take care of me, pal. They're I couldn't ask for, 2 better people for my life. Ada is getting into the stage of telling us no a lot, and, being a little, she's creating her own opinion, which is great. And Alex is, just pretty incredible about how you watch a person really go from, being your wife to being a mom. It's just, it's a incredible journey that, you watch, and it's definitely different from a father's perspective, and watching their bond is just top notch.
Love that.
That's incredible. Dylan, do we have any sort of fanfare-ish sounds on that soundboard, like something that you would fire off when...
Just going to hit a random button and see what happens?
Noise. Let's do it. What do you got, Dylan? No.
Nope.
That's a rim shot. No.
It's inspirational.
I need like a trumpet fanfare.
Laugh track. So we got some new equipment, in case you folks haven't noticed, including a new Roadcaster board. So we're having some fun with that.
Well, the thing was, Dave, me and Zach share a love of something, a media that we consume probably far too much every week, which is the Dan Le Batard Show podcast. I hope, against hope that maybe one of them hears this and they know how much we love them. And
they listen every week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we totally ripped off the name United Sessions from them, so we're pretty much family with them. But something they do pretty often is a good impromptu top 5 list. Mm-hmm. It's a good way to put someone on the spot. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, he's not fully on the spot. I did text Coach a couple of options.
It's not as much fun that way.
I wonder if any of those 3 options stood out, or if you want to go with David's random one that he just proposed that you don't know about.
To be honest, I remember one was about Charleston. Other than that, I don't really remember them. I said top 5, let's go, let's do it. I love it. That's part of my favorite part of their show. All right. With either David Sampson or Stu Gatz or whoever it is.
They pull the list out of the sock.
Billy, it's great.
It's wonderful. So we're going to give you an easy one in the hopes that you come back and we can do some of the harder ones. Just for the audience's sake, the one I wanted to go with was top 5 players that you actively avoided physical altercations with, just for fear of getting choked out on the field. But I think we'll avoid that one because it'll probably be some fairly random names and also put you in an awkward position where someone's like, come on, man, and then you get a direct message on social media, which we know you would hate. So let's just go with a really easy one, softball. We're going to throw it up like a can of corn for you. Top 5 donuts. Number 5.
Number 5, I think that would be a 5's a lot for donuts.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I've got like 30.
Top 5 donuts. I think chocolate glazed with the. Hold on, there's 2 different types.
Yeah.
There's like the chocolate actual donut,
Like a cake donut?
Yes, with the glaze on it. I think that's probably number 5.
Okay.
There you go.
There's the fanfare.
That's where your fanfare would be if you had it, Dylan.
Dylan, step your game up.
The rim shot.
That's number 4. Number 4 will be the glazed donut with white icing.
Okay. All right.
Dylan shaking his head. We're just doing rim shots on every donut. Okay.
All right. Number 3 would be the cake donut with like cinnamon.
Oh yeah. That's in my top 5.
Yeah. Okay. That's a winner.
What? Dylan, you're having too much fun.
Your opinion was not asked. Right? So.
Yes. Oh, poor Dylan. But also, yes.
Just kidding. I love
that. That is in my top 5 as well. I love that donut. The cinnamon on there.
Number 2, glazed chocolate icing.
Okay.
Number 1, glazed donut.
Simple glazed donut. Okay.
I think if anyone
all
knew
reliable.
Zach Prince's personality type, the glazed donut would be the winner.
I think
there's 3 varieties of glazed
but
donuts.
It's similar to like, what's your, I don't drink a lot of soda, but what's your favorite soda?
Dr. Pepper.
But Dr. Pepper is like the origin of Dr. Pepper has to be Coke, right?
I mean, everything comes from Coke, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So everything comes from the glazed. That's a fair
this is
point.
what I'm saying.
Although I will tell you this: the bear claw is such a monstrosity.
Is that even a donut or is it a pastry?
It's got to count as a donut.
I think it's a pastry.
If you can get it from Dunkin' Donuts, it's a donut.
Okay, so they have like the big ass cinnamon rolls. Are those considered donuts?
Are sausage biscuits donuts? Because you can get those.
Hash browns?
I think you need to define a donut.
I agree. That's a pastry. Bear claw is a pastry. It's like I like apple fritter. That's if that counts as a donut. That's in my. Is that a donut?
To me, it is.
Apple fritter.
I would say no. I would say.
I think it's a pastry.
Yeah. I would say pastry.
I think.
I mean, I'm just not an expert.
Well, we're gonna have to get some opinions from the audience on this one because clearly this is gonna be a big agree to disagree point.
If an apple fritter is a donut, it's my number 1. If not, then it's a French cruller. Love a French cruller.
How is a French cruller not a pastry and an apple?
That's absolutely a donut. It's got the hole in the middle and everything.
All right. I'm out of my realm, dude. I
I
cannot throw punches with you in donuts.
I'm very much in my realm when it comes to donuts.
You want to throw down on non-alcoholic beers or Mario Kart racing strategies? I might be able to hang out, but you got me on donuts. You got anything else for Coach Dave before we let him get out of here?
Thanks for hopping on with us, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
So no, Zach's amazing, despite how poorly he thought of my top 5 list.
Yeah, but he said he only wanted to hang out with you and not me. I don't blame him. To be fair, it is a little hurtful.
I think he was still getting settled into the podcast, and it was just one of those situations like where you were talking to him and he's like, okay, I gotta make sure that Lucas knows he's important. I think he knows.
Are you self-deprecating right now when he was talking smack about me? You can't like double deprecate.
No, I am going to deprecate because I think it goes to Zach Prince just knowing what a sensitive soul I am and him just making sure that our first podcast went well.
Pobrecito.
That's me.
Yeah, great guest, though, to your point. Love having Zach on. Loved having him on before he was head coach, technical director. And it's always good to get it's like multi-tiered insight from him, right? So we talk about the coaching stuff and, trying to run a locker room and bringing in new players and all that kind of stuff. But he also can provide us with, one, the player perspective because he was there and he knows what he's talking about. He talked about, that time where he scored 5 goals in a row and they got moved back and, he was fine with that. Not every player would be and that kind of stuff. But it's also like a very human level. His ability to know the mentality of these guys and be able to predict it and jump into it and know how to manage human beings on a human level more so than just a player level. They're more than just players. They're people. And I think that management are probably more crucial than the on-the-field stuff because it leaks into every part of their lives.
Well, and I would add onto that a third piece, like this superior understanding of what a meaningful thing it is to play for the state of New Mexico. It's crazy for someone who is a transplant, right? He is not originally from New Mexico, but I would be hard-pressed to think of someone who more embodies the spirit of our state, the spirit of our club, the insight he has into leadership, the tactical side. It's just incredible, and it's so fun to see someone just really take to a role and you have no questions about it, right? There's nothing that could be said and I have questions about this. I have questions about this. I am fully confident in the leadership of this club.
Well, he's puro New Mexicano, right? He gets it. He has the chip on his shoulder like a New Mexican does, like we all do. He understands how important it is that we represent New Mexico to the world in a positive way, in ways that maybe we haven't always been interpreted, I guess would be the right way to put it. So it's a beautiful thing to see. We're lucky to have him, and it's fun too. I mean, he's we had towards the end of that segment, we went from all the soccer talk, which is cool, but we got into more our bread and butter, which is a little bit of ridiculousness, a little bit of a top 5 about donuts, just like things that literally have zero consequences, and Zach can play ball there too, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's incredible to see the more human side of him. I hope we get him back multiple times. I want to continue.
Not after that episode. He's not coming back. He doesn't want to come back with us.
I think I have to get much better at top 5 formation before we invite him back.
Just so you know, family, as Zach was walking out, he made it very clear that Lucas's top 5 was not good.
I don't want to say the exact word, but he compared my top 5 list to fecal matter. So that did not feel good.
You deserved it.
But that is Zach Prince through and through. He's a man will tell you how it is and cut right through it. And it's just fantastic that he took time to hang out with us and play that ridiculous game. Also loved hearing about his new dog, hearing about his insight into his wife and his daughter. It's just incredible to see the human side of Zach. And it's something me and you have always known. We've been around him for a long time, but it'll be great to get to know him more and more as the season progresses, and hopefully the great results keep coming and he has time to come and talk to us.
Speaking of season progressing, between now and the next time we talk to people, probably we will have had 2 additional matches, both against Phoenix Rising. The first one this coming Saturday. If you're listening to this, before Saturday, obviously coming up on that, that's in the league. And then come Wednesday, just 4 days later, we'll be playing Phoenix Rising again, both those games in Phoenix, but this one in the Open Cup in our 3rd round matchup.
Yeah, plenty of soccer coming your way, plenty of exciting news coming your way, and so it's exciting to be in full swing of the season once again.
Yeah, it's fun. Lucas, we're going to do this wrap it up segment. What was your favorite part of the podcast?
I think probably knowing that our head coach and technical director is such a healthy dude, he does not know jack crap about donuts.
Yeah. I think I know enough about donuts for all of us, which is something I probably shouldn't be proud of. But yeah, I mean, to be fair though, so his number 1 was a plain glazed donut, and you could, we gave him a little bit of stick about that just to joke around, but ultimately,
he's kind of right.
A Krispy Kreme hot glazed donut is close to unbeatable. I mean, that is the best. It's so like when it's fresh off the line, it like melts in your mouth. I could eat a dozen of those without thinking about it.
I think that would beget a different conversation, which is like the most irresistible donut. Like the minute you put eyes on it, you cannot stop eating it.
All right, so shout out to Brown's Donuts in Ocean City, New Jersey. Best donut I've ever had in my life. It's on the boardwalk there. You go and you wait for like half an hour to get a donut, but they make it right in front of you, and it's the cinnamon honey. Oh, my God, it's so good.
See, that's the sort of passion we needed out of the top 5 list, but we just
It's your fault.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. What was your favorite part, Dave?
Favorite part was just now when I was talking about Brown's Donuts. No, my favorite part is that, Lucas, you're so thoughtful. You know that I am not drinking alcohol at this point. You brought in Penn's Best non-alcoholic beer because we've got a history with this podcast where you and I are always just having a beer during it.
That's right.
So non-alcoholic beer for now. I gave up alcohol for the whole year at the start of the year, kind of a New Year's resolution. But I'm having one here and there because I am getting married later this year, and I want to have a drink on my wedding day, and I don't want to get all sloshed. So here and there I'll have a beer with alcohol in it, but not too often. But thank you for being so thoughtful in that.
No, I'm happy to do it, buddy. Proud of you for the health decision. Yeah, I mean, the non-alcoholic beers, they really helped me learn that maybe I don't love alcohol as much as I just love the taste of a good crisp beer.
Yeah.
And you can't.
It's a social thing for me. I having a drink with my friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't do better than $2.99 for a 6-pack. So
It was a 5-pack when I got it.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So I had to have one on the way in.
Yeah.
Legal experts call in. Are you allowed to drink non-alcoholic beers?
I mean, there is some alcohol in it. It's less than 0.5%.
I should be
so
careful.
You were drinking and driving.
What's the statute of limitations on that?
I'm going to go call the cops.
Oh, no.
Goodbye, everybody.